We have about 6 devotees in that room, Prabhu. Okay, so we'll start now. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining for Divine Dialogues. Basically, this whole concept was taken from Toronto Bhakti Academy, and we saw a growing need among the youth that they have questions, and sometimes they are not comfortable either asking them, or sometimes they think they will be judged. So we started this program, Divine Dialogues, where we are inviting one of the most decorated devotees from across North America for answering some tough questions which youth has, which they can, once they get the answer, they can implement in their day-to-day life and become successful, not only spiritually, but also materially as well. But the foundation will be spiritual. So I reached out to Madana-gopāla Prabhu, and very willingly, he was ready. So we are very thankful to Madana-gopāla Prabhu for taking his time out from his very, very busy schedule. I'll briefly give you the introduction and then you will know. But thank you so much, Madana-gopāla Prabhu, for coming and blessing us. And I would advise everyone who is here online in present, at the end of this session, please ask questions, because that's what the Divine Dialogues is. It's a dialogue. So let's have a good conversation, learn something, take something home and implement in your day-to-day life. So Madana-gopāla Prabhu, he joined ISKCON in 1991 in Kenya. And then he moved to United States in 1993. And since then, he has been involved in preaching activities. Yeah, he's one of the director at ISKCON, New Jersey. Now, I will ask you one question. You all know that we are establishing here in Halifax, Atlantic Canada's biggest and first ISKCON temple, which is about 8,000 square feet. Now he, Madana-gopāla Prabhu, is also building a temple in New Jersey. And do you know the size of that temple? Let's have a wild guess. Anyone would like to put some, throw some numbers?
16,000 acres.
16,000, it's in square feet.
Square feet.
Our temple that we are going to acquire is going to be 8,000 square feet. Now, you help me. What do you think? What Madana-gopāla Prabhu is working on? I'll take one more guess. Anyone? One more guess.
20,000 square feet, Prabhu.
20,000 square feet. Okay. Now I'll spill the beans. 40,000 square feet. Imagine. And it's not a church. It will be a traditional temple. 40,000 square feet, and he's one of the director, working day and night to fulfill this Herculean task. So you can imagine how busy his lifestyle would be. He served as a member of the ISKCON North America RGB, and he's a coordinator of ISKCON communications, and as well as GBC zonal supervisor for several temples in Northeast Zone. He works in IT field and lives with his wife Manasi Ganga Mataji, and he has a 22-year-old son Madhav, and he lives in Percy Penny, New Jersey. So let's welcome Madana-gopāla Prabhu with loud chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Madana-gopāla Prabhuji. Floor is yours, please.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much for your warm welcome and for your generous introduction. And my obeisances to all of you attendees for this youth gathering. So, as is typical or as is traditional, I'm going to very quickly sing this Jai Radha Madhava, and then we get started. So before class, we sing this bhajan. I'll just, don't have any instruments, I'll just sing it once. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Praja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, I'm just going to stop share for a second. I'm going to change my audio so it's noise suppression. And I'm going to share my screen again. So, we will say some of these Mangala Acharan prayers, and then we'll get started. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshtarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the topic for today is success. Success in life. Planting seeds early for a successful life. So thank you all once again. I want to thank especially our dear Ambarish Prabhu for kindly inviting me to join you all in this discussion. It's a privilege to spend time with you, discussing how the choices we make and the habits we cultivate now in our youth can shape the rest of our lives. So in today's fast-paced world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the pressure to achieve success. There are pressures to keep up pace with technology, to keep up pace with our academics, stay ahead of the curve, and to navigate the complex dynamics of interpersonal relationships, while also dealing with our own inner development, ups and downs. Our parents, whether they're already very materially successful, or they may have aspirations for us, sometimes maintain very high expectations of us. So there's a certain standard of living we're expected to maintain or to live up to. Nice things to have, cool places to visit, nice Facebook profiles with lots of photographs and so on. And then there are so many role models that they quote, and people quote, I'm going to follow this role model. And people who have succeeded young in their life, long lists of impressive achievements. It's a lot of pressure today. But true success, it's not just about long lists of external achievements. It's about aligning with the timeless principles that bring inner fulfillment and lasting impact in the world. That is success. So I was thinking we can look at life as a garden. The actions, our thoughts and habits that we nurture today are the seeds that are going to grow into our future tomorrow. What kind of garden do we want to create? What am I planting? What is my future, right? As you sow, so shall you reap. The famous Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam. At the tender age of 5, he gave this important lesson to his classmates. He says, Kaumara acharet pragyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapya dhruvamarthadam. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of life the human form of body, from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, durlabham. And although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful, because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. So youth is a fleeting yet powerful phase of life. It's ideal for planting seeds of good habits, spiritual growth, and purposeful living. Prabhupada said, "You are the young generation." He was talking to his disciples who were very young. "You are the flower of your country and society. Practice this most sublime system, Krishna consciousness. Be happy and make others happy. This is the real mission of life." Sri Prabhupada also once said, there's a place that you can go, but I cannot. That place is the future. You are all young. I am an old man. But you can carry this message where I cannot go. So similarly, the idea that, the main idea is that even incremental gains in our youth pay major dividends later on in life. If you had invested in some key companies 20, 30 years ago, even small amounts would be so much multiplied by now. It takes time. It's all about timing. And the time is now when you're young. So we have to choose carefully what types of gains we want to invest in. What are the seeds that we should plant? Now, success doesn't happen by chance. It requires discipline, choosing what is right over what is easy. Let us know the importance of daily routines and habits like setting goals, time management, avoiding procrastination. Now, this is related to spiritual disciplines, such as chanting or meditation. So what are the seeds? So one set of seeds is seeds of spiritual growth, chanting, japa, kirtan, temple attendance, following regulated principles, avoiding sinful activities. That's spiritual growth. And these seeds are all related. Then we want to plant seeds of discipline, moderation, regulation, doing what's right, daily routine. These are key success factors. We don't need to get into the details. All the details. What we're talking about. But what I'm trying to impress upon our group here is the importance of really seeing the timeliness, the sense of urgency of doing it now when we're still young, because we're not going to be young forever. The seeds are going to start germinating, and we want to plant the right seeds. And then, of course, the seeds of values. Let's learn the significance of core values like humility, compassion, respect, and the goal of life. What is the goal of life? Prabhupada said, very simple. The goal of life is to awaken our relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we are disciplined, when we are focused, we will see these good qualities enter into other aspects of our lives, including the material, academic, and so on, career-wise. And it'll pay dividends there too. It's not that, if you do something in Krishna consciousness, you lose out on the other aspects of our life. It's a win-win situation. But we have to plant the right seeds right now. Let's take a look at Srila Prabhupada's life story, if you're familiar with it. Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya. Right from a very young age, he was very fortunate to be born in a great family of devotees. His father trained him, both in devotional practices. He started his own little Rath Yatra when he was a young child, and he learned how to play mridanga, he learned the verses, and he learned to respect sadhus. And as he grew up, he learned more and more, and he met his guru. So the seeds of his youth, they really paid off in the form of this worldwide movement that we are all benefiting from. See? But there was lots of good seeds being planted back then. Another story, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn of Narada Muni. He recounts his past life as a son of a poor servant woman, who served these traveling bhakti yogis, the bhakti Vedantas, during the rainy season. And by humbly serving them, eating their remnants, he developed deep devotion. He served them with great discipline, it said. He didn't just waste his time playing. Even though kids his age, they're playing. He didn't want to play. He wanted to serve. He wanted to learn. He focused. And the sages blessed him with spiritual knowledge and realization. And his mother passed away when he was just a young child, and he lived by himself. But he remained determined. After the loss of his mother, he continued with great determination. He traveled all over the place, glorifying the Lord. And then after death, he actually got the darshan as a young boy of the Lord in his heart. And then, of course, after that, he became immediately liberated, and he continues to travel all over the universe, giving spiritual life, giving divine grace wherever he goes. The ultimate success story. But the same values of early discipline, consistency, and determination. Now, in any garden, in addition to the seeds and the flowers and the fruits that we want, there will be other plants that are going to grow that we have to deal with. Those are the weeds. What are the weeds? How do we address the weeds? How do we keep them under control or remove them? So one is to acknowledge that there will be weeds, there will be challenges. Every gardener faces them. Distractions, doubts, setbacks. But with determination, those can be overcome. And then maintaining focus. In the beginning, we can be enthusiastic, but to maintain consistent focus, it takes, again, determination, patience, discipline. How do we stay focused? Surround yourself with positive influences, good association. Avoid bad habits. Avoid bad environments that drain your energy or misdirect your focus. Krishna says, Ekeha kurunandana, vyavasayatmika buddhi. Focus intelligence is the key to ultimate success. Right? So when we avoid bad association, we inoculate ourselves from some of the most disturbing weeds. Because the nature of association is such that we absorb the attitudes of those we open our hearts to. Now, association means, we come close enough to people that we feel like opening our hearts to them. That's what I mean by association. I'm not saying that, you don't sit next to other people in class who are not devotees. No. It doesn't mean you don't exchange notes. No. I'm talking about opening up your heart, being close, allowing their influence to brush off on us. That's association. That's what we want to avoid, the negative kind, because we will be influenced. You can't help it. And let us take good association. Another aspect of maintaining focus is patience and faith. Looking at Prabhupada's journey. The other picture was as a child, as a youth. But at the age of 69, he took this journey to America. It's not easy to do. And back then, it was really difficult. He didn't go by plane. He's getting on the ship. It was a tough journey. He had 2 heart attacks on the way. But his story is an example of unwavering faith and incredible patience in planting the seeds that will bear fruit. And if we maintain good association, by good association, I mean progressive devotees who are encouraging, who are supportive, who are loving, they will help us, even though we may not be able to succeed every single time. Even if you make mistakes, don't lose heart. Every step toward a better life is progress. It is said that success is getting up one more time than the number of times you're knocked down. That's all. That is success. Just keep getting up and keep at it. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, he tried so many different things. It said, there's one newspaper journalist interviewed him and said, "You failed 2,000 times." And Edison told him, "No, I didn't fail 2,000 times. It just turns out that the invention of the light bulb is a 2,000 step process." You see, so it's not about failure. It's about just keeping at it, being consistent and being patient. So determination, patience, enthusiasm. Those 3 things will ensure our success. Utsaha, nishchaya, dhairya. enthusiasm, determination, and patience. Prabhupada said, if you simply follow these principles, success is guaranteed. Very simple principles. Utsaha nishchay, dhairya. We know what to do, chant Hare Krishna. Dive deep into Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Keep tight association of progressive devotees who will be supportive. Make friendship. And if you have opportunity, share with others. Even at a young age, you can be sharing. And when you share, you'll hear questions. You may not know the answers, but you will learn those answers. And you'll get better and better. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we also learn about a seed. This is a special seed known as the Bhakti Lata Bij. This is the verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. Wandering all over the universe, a rare, fortunate soul, Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, rare, fortunate soul, receives the mercy of Lord Krishna, who then arranges for him to meet a bona fide spiritual master. The Guru then imparts the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed of the creeper of devotion. And what is that seed? Srila Prabhupada writes, the methods, rules, and regulations by which one is perfectly trained in devotional service constitute the Bhakti Lata Bij. The seed is the methods, the techniques, the regulations. That's the seed. See, it's not love. Love is already in the heart, but the seed is the methods, the things to do. And this Bhakti Lata Bij is received from the spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. This delicate creeper then grows upwards toward the spiritual world, where it finally flowers into the fragrant blossom of love of Godhead. That's true happiness. And that happiness is accessible immediately. We don't have to be totally perfect. You can feel the happiness right away, and it'll just grow and grow as you get more and more absorbed in it. So a successful garden, if we have followed all the gardening best practices and we keep working with patience and determination, we will see that we are not bereft of happiness in any dimension of our life, in this world or the next. We will have the inner strength to overcome the inevitable ups and downs of life. And the ultimate fruit of the garden, the love and association of Krishna in the spiritual world, will become a reality. And we'll be able to associate with Krishna in his garden. That's our long-term goal. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I have kept it short intentionally to leave ample time for interaction and discussions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Madana-gopāla Prabhu. Very nice presentation. I'll open the platform now. Please ask questions. This is the time. Hare Krishna. Maybe I'll break the ice. I really like the definition of association, Prabhu. I never thought it that way, because sometimes being a practitioner with these 4 core regulatory principles and not eating onion, garlic, and then sometimes we think that, okay, I'm sitting with this guy or this whoever it is who is a beef eater, for an example, and we consider it as association. So we start judging them. We don't sit with them or something like that. But the meaning that you give for definition of association was an eye-opener for me. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, it's a very misunderstood thing.
Yes.
this association instruction, because it's kind of confusing. How am I supposed to function in the world? I mean, we see when Srila Prabhupada came here, right? In the beginning, he would stay with the Agarwals in near Pittsburgh. It's a place called Butler, Pennsylvania, you know. And there he was sharing their home. I mean, he was the guest in their home, and they would smoke in the home. They had meat in their freezer, you know. Sally Agarwal, she was an American. She was married to Gopal Agarwal. And he would share the fridge. I mean, you could see there's a beef there, and he would put his, you know, little whatever he was cooking on the same fridge. And he, you know, he was associating, right? But it's not a big deal in one sense, right? Of course, we have to be careful that we don't let that rub off. He was a great devotee and so on. But still something to consider. If our behavior is loving and friendly and caring, that'll attract other people to wonder, wait, how come this person is so, it's different, he's different, she's different. And we become their association. Association is powerful. You know, association is very powerful. I'll give you one quick analogy, and this happened to me. All of you, I'm sure, have been to Indian weddings, right? And the Indian wedding at the end, then the girl is leaving, vidai. And there's a vidai happening, and it's a very emotional moment. Everybody's crying. Now, I've been to a few of them, and one wedding, I said, I'm not going to cry. I don't even know the people. I've never seen the girl. I don't even know the family. It's just my father's friends. I'm not going to cry. I was convinced, yes, this time I'm not going to cry. It's so silly. When I was there, as soon as the girl started leaving, I was the first one to start crying, and then everybody else started crying. I mean, you could see that they were just welling up. But because I'm surrounded by people who are just already so emotional, I couldn't help it. I couldn't even stop, even though I was determined to not cry. I was crying. So even though our determination may be strong, if we're in the wrong association, we may slip into bad habits. Conversely, even if our standard of Krishna conscious practice or spiritual practice may not be so good or whatever, at the best, but we are with the best devotees who are very strongly in love with Krishna. Oh, that'll move our hearts too. Very quickly, we'll fall in love with Krishna. We'll start crying just like they are. So that's the association you choose very carefully. And then when you find the right association, maximize your time with that investment. Yes.
Beautiful.
Okay. I think Mayank Ramchandani has a question or comment.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for explaining how association works. I was actually going to ask about a related question, but I think you might have answered it already. But I'll ask it again in case you have anything else to add. I was going to ask about, like you mentioned in our workplaces as well. Sometimes, you know, we are forced or we have to be in certain situations where we have to interact with certain people, and we get certain associations, whether it's at home or more importantly in workplace, and that's sometimes difficult to change. So how would you recommend working on that? Is the answer, like you mentioned, you know, encouraging or being more stronger in your spiritual practices, chanting and book reading?
Yeah. Yes. It's all of the above, all of the above. So you know the answer already, but I can kind of add to it. It does require extra prayer to the Lord. That's very helpful. You can imagine, right? When you know, say you know you're going to have a lot of very emotionally charged interaction at work today. You know it because you can see the meetings that are going to be, and then there's even a happy hour at the end, and you have to go, right? And you have to pretend to like it and just drink spring water, whatever it is. That's fine. But you know there's going to be heavy, quote unquote, association. Then you can pray in advance to the Lord. My Lord, please help me be strong. And we can then take a little snack prasadam with us in the pocket, like some nuts or something. That prasadam can. Prasadam is also powerful if it's offered with love. It can also save you. You know, the mongoose fights with the snake, cobra. And mongoose, even though the cobra is so venomous, the mongoose survives the fight and a lot of the time beats the snake. You must have seen it. It's a real thing. It happens. You can see it. The videos. And they've seen in India that the mongoose, it fights in its own turf. Like it goes, attacks the snake bites it, and then it fights a little bit, then it retreats and he goes and sniffs certain flowers or certain herbs, he chews on them. Those herbs are antidotal. And then it actually neutralizes the venom, and it goes and fights again. That's the secret to the mongoose's success. It stays close to the antidote. Similarly, yes, we interact with the world, and sometimes it's toxic, it's venomous. But if we retain some proximity, that's why I said keep a little prasadam, keep the holy name close to you, and have as much good association as possible. Then we can get our antidote as well. We should not assume that we are immune to the effects of association. And nothing like good progressive association as the perfect antidote, because it quenches the thirst of the heart.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for answering that.
Any other comments or questions? It doesn't have to be on this topic. I don't think. You can ask anything, anything that's you have a question about, and I'll see if I can try to answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like here, sometime we are living with the people like who are non-vegetarian, so they have the stuff like meat in the fridge. So my question is, like, in that case, how to like offer the prasadam to Lord? Usually I think about this.
Yes, it's a good question, and it's not an easy situation.
Yeah.
That's why we give the example of Srila Prabhupada. In fact, that's the same example I gave, right? That even though Prabhupada is living in that circumstance, is very difficult, we do the best we can. So Prabhupada was making the best use of it, even though he had to use the space, like he had his cabbage or whatever, potatoes, different things he had put in the fridge, like cabbage and whatnot. What can you do? It's fine. You do your best. Keep it as clean as possible, and you can do it at different times. I have some students who are college students. Some of them have roommates, and they have to share the fridge with their roommates. They have to share the same stove in the kitchen. Of course, they use different pots, but it's tough, especially when they're cooking something quite strong. It's hard for us to even breathe in some of those places because we're not used to those smells, but we have to just pray to the Lord. And then later on, you can tell your grandchildren stories. Yeah, even though it was so difficult, I lived through it. I chanted my rounds, and you guys should be thankful you don't have to deal with this stuff. Something, make notes, take pictures, share with your grandchildren later on.
Sure, Prabhu.
You do the best you can. Krishna always helps you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Adi.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class. I got many insights which I really admire, but I have few questions, especially in the seed of plant you gave, the seed of discipline, right? As I feel like I am the fallen among the fallens, due to which most of the time it's really hard to be into the discipline. Like the mind really mind tries to linger on the stuff like even if I wake up early in the morning, like 4 a.m., I wake up early in the morning, but I feel like, okay, what's wrong with that? I will start the chanting at 5. It's fine, like that, linger on the time and, not to be on the discipline always. So how can we make ourselves disciplined in that field?
Yeah, this is difficult. What we need to do is discipline, right? We know that. We know discipline is very important. Now, a lot of the times, it's not difficult to discipline, to do the right thing if you develop a taste for it. Like, for example, if someone is really getting a lot of taste for jogging, and they get a high from it, and it's like they don't feel comfortable if they didn't go jogging a few minutes today. But in the beginning it was difficult, but now they have a taste, almost like an addiction. So similarly, we need to develop a taste for chanting. Now in the beginning the taste is not there, so we need to accelerate the acquisition of the taste. We all know chanting. I think most of our devotees here are trying to chant. You're doing japa, I'm assuming, right? That you're chanting Hare Krishna. But there are best practices in chanting. I can give you a quick synopsis called the 4 gates. The 4 gates to completely successful japa practice. Now, this particular seminar called the 4 Gates Seminar, it's a 6-7 hour seminar that I give, but I'll give you the 6-7 minute version of it. Okay. So, what are the 4 gates to successful japa? The first gate is called fundamentals, where you sit properly. In Prabhupada's japa tape, it says sit properly. Sitting properly is important. Posture affects our mood. So if you sit straight, that's a very good step. You pronounce the words clearly, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Clear, sharp. Wake up early in the morning, as much as you can. I know it's hard, but if you do all these things, you'll develop a taste for it. And make sure you have a sacred space, like some corner of your room, or a nice clean spot where you have some peace and you can sit. You don't want to do it where it's very noisy and very not clean or untidy. So that is the first gate, right? The second gate is called the mind and intellect, where first we absorb our mind in understanding what these names are. This is Krishna himself. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Says Abhinnatva Nama Namino. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. So we are mentally saturated in understanding the glories of the name, understanding that Krishna is personally present here. Of course, the whole mental discussion is at least a 2-hour discussion, but I'm just giving you a synopsis of it. So that's the mind and intellect. Make sure we're aligned philosophically and mentally with some focus, the focus of the mind, because your posture is going to help you with the focus in the mind, you see. That's the second gate. You have to pass through 4 gates before you reach Krishna. And then the third gate is heartfelt emotion, where we now, beyond the mind and intellect, beyond the philosophy, we open our inner feelings before the Lord. Remember, the goal is to have love for God, to develop our original love. That's the goal. Now, we may not have the love of God fully manifest in our heart, okay? But we can access other love-adjacent feelings like gratitude, appreciation, even remorse. Yeah, I feel a regret and remorse that I wasted my life. I'm not able to do more. My Lord, please show me mercy. It's a very nice thing to have that emotion. It's a wonderful thing to be grateful. My Lord, you're so kind that even at this young age, you gave me Krishna consciousness. You gave me access. I'm so thankful. What are the odds? It's like winning 50 jackpot lotteries in a row. You're born in a human body. You're born in a decent family. You don't have to worry about where the food is going to come from. You have a healthy life. You've found this nice philosophy. You have association of devotees. You have this incredible philosophy that is just undefeatable. It's so solid, so satisfying. I'm chanting now. I have a whole body, all my legs and hands, everything is intact. My tongue is working. I can hear. Wow. And I'm sitting and I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I'm so thankful to you, my Lord. Then the heart will start flowing. And gradually we'll see glimpses of some feelings, some loving feelings. Now, the 4th gate is a little bit different. The 4th gate does not depend on our efforts. Everyone is eligible to approach the Lord for his mercy. So the 4th gate is called the gate of mercy, where the handle is on the other side. Krishna opens that gate for us. But we have to reach that gate and wait for him to show his mercy. Even though everyone is eligible to receive his mercy, we make ourselves more receptive by first giving everything we have to reach the 4th gate. Then we can wait. Dhairya, principle, right? The principle is patience, dhairya. So we wait for his mercy. But we're only qualified to wait for his mercy when you reach the 4th gate. And you can't reach the 4th gate unless you've gone through the first 3. And when you've gone through the first 3, then you know that you've given everything you've got. You're trying to prove to the Lord that you're interested. And when you start really putting effort in all these areas, one after another, you will develop a taste, an addiction. And then you see, no, there's nothing sweeter than this. That's why we see devotees who've been chanting 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years, and they're still doing it. Why would they keep doing all these years? There must be something there. I want to taste that. Once you have a taste, then the discipline itself becomes very natural. You know, if you learn how to trade the stocks, like you learn some neat trick that every day you're making profit, every day you're making 5-10% every single day without fail, because you figured it out. You will not need to discipline yourself to wake up in time to get to the stock market. No, you'll be the first one there. You'll be waking up so early, doing the analytics and everything, because you have a taste and you're doing well. That guy doesn't need to be taught discipline. Discipline is not even a factor. There's so much taste. So once we develop taste, then discipline is insignificant. But until then, discipline is important. You know, so yes, we do need to put in some effort. We have to work a little bit outside our comfort zone, which is called the growth zone. Growth zone is always outside our comfort zone. See? And then as you work in your growth zone, your comfort zone expands. And what used to be your growth zone becomes a comfort zone. Now it's very comfortable. It's very easy. See, so you have to work between that magic zone, which is just beyond your comfort zone and before the breaking zone, breaking point. So you don't want to push yourself so hard that you break and completely fail and die, or become sick, or become miserable, or become non-functional. That you want to stay within, beyond the comfort zone and within the breaking point, and that's your growth zone. That requires a little bit of discipline. Means because you're not comfortable. Don't remain comfortable all the time. Yeah, you need some comfort, but that shouldn't be the goal. Then you'll grow, and then even difficult things become comfortable. That's true for anything, for bodybuilding. If you want to be a piano player, it doesn't matter. Everything requires some growth, some discipline. Okay. Hare Krishna. I hope that helps. I hope those helps.
Yes, Prabhu, it does help. So like it also brings one small question. Like I feel like I have a good taste in reading books, reading Srila Prabhupada books, listening to the lectures as well as the kirtan. But sometime during the japa, I feel like the taste as compared to the other modules is not that much as compared to the japa. So how can we okay, I seen this these points definitely will help me now how to increase the taste in japa.
Yeah. So
And
yeah, the increases of taste comes with, again, the very key point, you know, the nectar of instruction. Verse number 2 and verse number 3. Actually, nectar of instruction is only 11 verses, so I encourage everybody to memorize the whole thing. But at least the first 6-7 verses are very, very crucial for developing our taste and things like that. So verse number 2 lists 6 items that will destroy your devotional service. You know, eating too much, doing prajalpa, you know, talking nonsense, associating with the wrong people. Right? That's the second verse. And the third verse says, Utsaha nishchaya dhairya tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga. So these are 6 things that'll make sure you'll succeed. Now, between those 2 verses, there's one item that's mentioned in both of them. It's very important. That's the association. In the verse number 2, it says, giving up, or the bad association will kill your devotional service. And verse number 3, it says, giving up bad association will make sure you'll succeed in devotional service. So if we associate with devotees who have taste for japa, find them. And in this modern world of Zoom and YouTube, you can get that association electronically, especially if you're living in remote places. So yeah, if you don't have progressive devotees like living right in your building, that's fine, but we can associate with them. You can find there, I can recommend His Holiness Sachinandan Swami has a very nice series of japa improvement classes online and retreats. These 4 gates was something I learned from him, and it has transformed my life substantially. Like prior to learning this, it was an 8-day seminar, I'll just tell you, just on these 4 gates, like 2 days on each gate. Can you imagine? Full day, day and night. And some of those days we chanted 64 rounds. Before that seminar, japa was something that came in the way of my day. After the seminar, my day was something that came in the way of my japa. The taste goes through the roof. And Prabhupada said your spiritual progress depends, 90% of it, 90% of your spiritual grade comes from chanting japa. So if you invest in learning about this, try to find those tapes, those seminars. There's tons of them out there on YouTube. Diligently study them, hear them, apply those principles. I mean, I'm serious. Just sitting up straight and properly, that'll boost your taste, guaranteed. In the beginning, it may sound odd. I'll give you an example. There was a man who was very depressed. And he was all bent over like this, and like his nose was touching his chest, and his arms were to his side. And he went to a psychiatrist. He says, "Doctor, I'm just so depressed, like for months and years. I just can't come out of depression." And the doctor looked at him, and the doctor did the same posture. He put his head down, with head down, droopy face, arms down. For like a whole minute, the doctor just kept quiet. This patient is wondering, what's wrong with this doctor? Why is he acting so weird? And then the doctor looked up and said, "It works. I am also feeling depressed now." In other words, what he's saying is that if I keep my posture like this, anybody will be depressed. Anyone. So if we keep our posture really straight, I mean, Prabhupada in the japa tape, he interrupts his own japa 2 times to give a message. It says, "Sit properly." If you listen to it, sit properly. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why? It's important. If you sit properly and pronounce it, that's half the battle. Your mind gets lined up quickly. Your heart will start feeling like expressing because you feel Krishna's presence. And then once that taste is even glimpses of it, then nothing in the world can compare. So we have to follow, give it a shot. If we don't try it, there's only so much you can learn about the sweetness of honey by reading the label. You can read the label, you cannot philosophize your way out of chanting. Philosophy is very nice when you memorize all the ingredients, memorize the molecules in the honey, and you read books and books about it. But if you've never opened it and taken a spoonful of it, it'll be difficult to continue studying because you don't have a taste for it. So dive into it. Learn to open the bottle. Learn to reach the 4th gate and knock on Krishna's door. Try it for a month. Come back. Let me know if it doesn't work, okay? You will see an improvement. We have to put our due diligence into it. It's not an easy thing to do. We are working against a lot of things that they're against us. The world itself, the Kali Yuga, our environment, our own family sometimes, our neighbors, our own aspirations, our own habits from the past. All these are working against us. So we have to beat all of them and cling hard to the feet of Srila Prabhupada, to the lotus feet of the Lord, and to the association of progressive devotees. Then we will see some transformation. We are not meant to stay here forever. This is not our home. Let's really be serious about, reaching Krishna. It requires some work. It won't come just like that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much.
I do need to leave in exactly 9 minutes. Just want to let you know because I have another class to give. So.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for the beautiful presentation and the discussion. I just had a thought in my mind when you shared about the Bhakti Lata beach.
Yes.
So we do have Srila Prabhupada as our bona fide spiritual master now. I was also wondering about how one should approach a guru, or if you could share your experience of how you got to your guru. Is it that we should try to improve our practice and try to find a guru, or a guru finds you when it's time? Just wondering about that, Prabhu. Thank you.
Sure. No, this is a very good question. It's a complex question, but I'll just give you a brief synopsis. We actually have a course in ISKCON called the ISKCON Disciples Course. That course is like a 4-day course. We compress it in 3 days. We teach, it's an in-person taught. I think they also offer it online, but in-person is more in-depth, where we really go into this question. How to find a guru. First of all, why do you even need a guru? Is it necessary? And then how do I go about finding guru in the modern context of ISKCON? Here I am sitting in Halifax or in Canada, and I'm looking around, I'm looking for a guru. How do I go about it? I'm chanting my rounds. I've given up sinful activities. I'm enjoying the philosophy. I enjoy the company of my devotees who are my friends. And now, and I read all the time Prabhupada's books. You need guru, you need guru. Where do I find? So, and once I find some options, how do I know which is the right one? So all those questions are answered in the course. But if we read Prabhupada's books, we will see many of those answers there. Like the same book I was quoting, the very first verse, Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. This is Nectar of Instruction. That's an important book. You get it online, you just read it online on Vedabase, Nectar of Instruction. It's a very thin book. The first verse talks about 6 qualities of a guru. This person who has these 6 qualities can be the guru. And Prabhupada very simply says, a guru is one who is strictly following his guru. He understands the scriptures very well and can convince others to take up Krishna consciousness just by dint of his preaching. Very solid. He can never be defeated. He's very convinced himself because of his understanding of scriptures and the science of Krishna. So strictly following, understand the science of Krishna very well, and engage in sharing with others, engage in preaching, engage in distributing, engage in the project of giving Krishna to others. It could take many shapes, like building a temple. That's the temple behind me that Amrish Prabhu was mentioning that we're building. It's about 80%, 90% done, actually. You should all come and we should probably open it either early next year or maybe end of this year. So everyone's invited to come and visit. But anybody who's doing any of these things, if all those 3 things are there and you feel inspired by the way they teach, you're inspired by the way they live their lives, then you can give them a shot. What do I mean by give them a shot? In the scripture, it's said that there should be a 1-year mutual examination period where you find, okay, this guru, he or she, I find them very inspiring. You can approach that person, says, I like the way you're teaching and so on, the way you live. And I would like to consider you for spiritual shelter. So the guru will say, okay, there's a 1-year period, fine, just let's stay in touch and figure out, let's see what you do. And then there's an interview process that they may do. They may ask you some questions and then make sure the expectations are aligned. Have you taken the disciples course? First take the course so you understand what you're getting into. So things are clear. And then for 1 year, the guru examines the way the disciple is living and the way the disciple is practicing. And the disciple also examines the guru. If the disciple feels the guru's style is not as the right one as they felt, then the disciple can also say, sorry, I think it's not going to work out. And that's fine. Completely fine. No hard feelings. That's a system. So I just gave you in short what the process is. That is a 1-year examination period. You can ask around. There's also, I don't know how useful this is, but there's a ISKCON official list of gurus. If you just Google list of gurus in ISKCON, you'll find it's an official GBC website, and it gives you the list of all the names. Of course, the names don't mean much because it's like, what is the names? But you can also then ask around other devotees and see who's available. If you're traveling yourself, you can see if there's other gurus that are traveling, and they have their websites and their traveling schedules and so on. So in my case, I approached my guru because I was very much into reading his books. My Guru Maharaj, his holy name is Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj. You may have seen his name. He is the author of Prabhupada Lilamrita, the official biography of Srila Prabhupada. He was one of Prabhupada's earliest disciples. He joined even before ISKCON was formed in 1966, very early in New York. He's still living upstate New York. He's written more than 200 books now on Krishna consciousness, a very prolific author. So I was very impressed by his writing, his depth of understanding, and his ways of explaining things. So I approached him back in the 90s. I got initiated in the 90s as well. And since then, he told me you should preach thoroughly the message of Krishna and message of Prabhupada. So I've been trying whatever little way I can to also assist him. So yeah, this is how I met my Guru Maharaj. I was impressed by his writings even before I came to America, when I was still in Kenya. I was born and raised in Kenya. My parents are Gujarati, but I was born and raised in Kenya. And I came across Krishna consciousness in that time. And when I was reading his works, I found him very impressive. So for me, that's how it happened. For different people, it'd be different ways. Everyone has their own different route in which they discover, but Krishna will certainly arrange. But at the same time, you can keep your own eyes open to find someone. All right, Samita.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing also.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, do you have time for one more question?
3 minutes.
Yeah, sure. Oh, by the way, have any of you seen an initiation ceremony in ISKCON? Or have you anybody not
No.
seen an initiation ceremony? It's very interesting, the Guru initiation ceremony. There's
Everyone is going to see Prabhu, and this year in June and July we have around 9 devotees getting initiated. So
fantastic.
we'll see the big yajna and the whole
That's great.
process.
Right there in Halifax?
Yes, Prabhu.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, there's one happening this Sunday in New York. If you're interested, it's on Zoom. So if you're interested, you can take a look. Our Venetia Mataji here, who's Venetia Lennon, she's getting initiated on Sunday.
Right. Hari Bol.
in the Bhakti Center in New York. So if you're interested in watching, you can watch it. Maybe I'll share I'll share with you the link. You can
Yes,
watch
Prabhu,
it.
please.
It's going to be at 11:30 in the morning, your time, 10:30 our time.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's a Vasant Panchami. It's a very auspicious day also. So it's a lot of festivities. Yeah. Sorry. If you have another question, sorry, there's one more question. We can do one more.
Ji Prabhu. I just wanted to ask, going back to the idea of association in the world. So I have a bunch of friends from different religions, and today only I was talking to my friend who is Christian, and he was going through some hard time, and he was talking to me that what should I do, and I said it's all God's plan, and he was just telling me about how he thinks it is God's plan. So would I consider that good association? Because it's confusing, right? So would that be what is that an ideal association, or yeah, that's my question.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, is you can make friends with devotees or God worshippers of other cultures. There's nothing wrong with that. You just have to use your judgment. You have to use your judgment in how much to take. Especially if you're in the beginner stage, we want to be very careful. But one of my services that I do in ISKCON is communications, North American communications. And part of that is interfaith dialogue. And so interfaith dialogue, we actually have every year a Vaishnava Christian dialogue in Washington, D.C. Last year, I made a presentation in that dialogue as well. So it's a part of our service. Our Vaishnavas and our Christian friends, we get together and we spend like 4 days together just talking about each other's faith, and we really want to learn more. It's really nice. They love us, we love them. You see, so that dialogue, that friendship, and these friendships, they we see them all the time, and we talk on the phone about each other's personal lives, and they become friends, and they appreciate that we worship God, and we appreciate they worship God. So it's completely fine. You just have to be very careful that they are not being offensive, and they're not like subtly trying to tell you, unless you worship Jesus, you're going to hell. Because there are many people who will tell you that. But these Christian friends we have for dialogue, they don't tell us that. They understand all the nuances. Some of them even quote Sanskrit. They're professors. They quote Sanskrit Bhagavad Gita. They know our religion very well, even better than us sometimes. And so, it all depends on the depth of and maturity of the person you're with. See? So you have to be very careful. But if the vibe is good, and if there's no ulterior motive, then certainly there's no harm. In fact, it could be an enriching experience. All right.
Sounds good, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm a little bit over time, but I really appreciated your questions. I appreciated your association. I'm really honored to meet all of you. Ambrish Prabhu, thank you so much for engaging in this service. Maybe at some point I can come again, if that's okay, to see
Absolutely,
all of you.
I was about to say that. Or maybe in person.
In person, sure. It's not that far. We like to come.
Far.
We like to come to Canada. We go to Montreal all the time. So yeah. So maybe one day we'll work something out. Maybe meet your circle. They just all of you are just wonderful devotees. So I have to rush, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hey,
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I personally learned a lot. How about you? How was it?
So that was amazing.
Yeah, it was very nice.
We can feel the I mean, the presence of Prabhu, you
Mm.
know, we can feel that, like even it's on Zoom, but we can feel that purity in his words and in his dedication of his life towards Krishna. So it's obvious, right? So we can
Yes.
just it's showing by his face. So it's very beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very nice. Yeah, such a strong sadhana they have and such a pure heart, and that reflects in their teachings and their conviction into Krishna consciousness. We are so lucky that Prabhupada has created this humongous family across the whole world that we can associate with these incredible devotees. Yeah, we are very lucky.
Yes,
Yes.
Prabhu. Even I wanted to say like how we can meet Prabhu personally, but you just mentioned that someday he will come.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someday maybe he
We'll
will visit
invite
on
him.
Halifax temple. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure, Prabhu.
We'll
At
invite him.
our inauguration when we will have our own temple, for
Uh,
sure.
yes. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. And we all would like to congratulate Venetia Mataji. It's a big day. It's tomorrow,
Thank you.
right?
Sunday.
Sunday. All right. Hari
Yeah.
bol. Awesome.
Haribol.
Oh, what a big step of your life. And
Yes.
thank you so much for taking this seriously and inspiring all of us. If it is possible, we would love to join online your initiation
Oh,
ceremony.
that would be amazing. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I so enjoyed listening to this. It was wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Thank you for having me.
I would request everyone to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for one time for Mataji for the journey that for the new birth she's taking on Sunday. Let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Shubh Ratri. Hare Krishna.
Bye.